I think Python is a good language for AI right now for many of the same reasons why it became popular for scientific and numerical computing. The reason is because the way we currently build AI systems, there is a set of ideas that the AI researchers, the people who are building these things, there's a set of ideas that they're trying to put together. And what you want in an ideal language is you want a language where the right concepts are represented at a level of abstraction that sort of take care of the things for you. So you don't have this extra cognitive burden. You don't have to pay attention to details that don't matter. But when you want to tweak something, you can easily go and just turn a screw somewhere, right? And Python, I think, is just like this really beautiful balance of this right now. If you think about the way that we build AI systems, that we're looking at large amounts of data, and when you're coming in, the data is coming in, you need to process and manipulate it somewhat. Python is fantastic as a Swiss Army knife for slicing data. It's just very simple to say precisely what you want done and have it just do the right thing. That is not, by the way, something that just happens to show up in a language. That's through careful, thoughtful design. Hundreds of mailing list messages going back and forth about what should this behavior be if this exception happens, or what if we do that, what if the other. Like, all these kinds of things are being done by thousands of community members across thousands of libraries. And the net effect of it is we end up with an ecosystem of tools that feels pretty nice to use. There's still quirks all over the place, but for the most part, it's kind of nice to use. Okay, so Python's great for doing the data slicing and dicing. The output of that slicing and dicing process then feeds right into a bunch of very dense math. Matrix math, linear algebra. It could be graph algorithms to do certain things when something hits a node and does something else. So all of those different kinds of things are easy to write in a few lines of Python. I have actually a screenshot on my phone, I keep it with me, which is the core logic of the transformer, which is the thing that unlocked this popularity of large language models in recent years. The core of the transformer fits within 100 lines of, dense, but still 100 lines of Python code. And you can look at some of those lines, and if you're to unwrap that, if you're trying to express that line of code of Python as C++ or other kinds of arrays and loops and all these things, it expands to a lot more lines. And that's just for a single line. And so if you want to actually recode that in these other things, it becomes very, very gnarly. And it becomes so gnarly that it becomes unapproachable unless someone becomes very sophisticated at using that language. So what happens is then you filter out a lot of the people who might be good at thinking about the math of AI, and you require them to become expert programmers. And what Python does is it doesn't require them to be expert programmers, and they get some of their AI done. So the fact that you have all of that, and then the last thing, it's good data, it's good at data, it's good at doing all this math, and what's really great about Python is that it is very extensible under the hood. So then you can go make it run really fast. Right? If it couldn't be made to run fast, then people would just do some research with it and then recode all of it in a lower level language. But with Python, it's actually just about high level enough where you could still go and you can lower it and run, make advanced libraries that run it really fast. So having all of those three things within the same language makes it kind of like an ideal sweet spot of a language. And I think it's going to be kind of hard to displace that. Not to say we can't improve on all these different dimensions of it, but the fact that you have all of this in one spot is really important. And then the last thing is everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. There's a lot to be said for that, right? If you come up with a language that's way better than Python tomorrow, how long would it take you to get your first 1 million users that really understand how to write it, how to debug it, how to go and deploy it at scale? That stuff just takes time. There's a whole ecosystem of tools that have to get built around it. So you'd have to bet on Python. If you discover some new language that's the greatest thing since sliced bread, you'd have to bet on your being able to grow adoption faster than the Python ecosystem and the tens of millions of people who use it catching up with you and taking your best ideas, right? So I'm very, very bullish on Python's future.